Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Bringing you the news from Sri Lanka and across the world. It's a national news broadcast on SLPP Rupavahini Corporation. I'm Siobhan Pereira.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Sharifa Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
The President says that some elements spreading false information regarding the debt restructuring and allied matters. Price of domestic gas reduced again. Minister Bandula says that it is regrettable that the opposition devalued the debt restructuring process. The President paid last respects to the late politician R. Sampanthan. The National Transport Commission says conductors who overcharge the bus fares will be brought to book. Stampede in a religious festival in North India claimed 87 lives.
We now move on to those and other stories in detail. We take a look at local news first. President Ranil Wickremesinghe highlighted today in Parliament that false propaganda regarding debt restructuring and related matters are being spread by various individuals both inside and outside the Parliament.
He emphasized that while the government pursues policies beneficial for the country, critics continue to fabricate different narratives solely for political gain. And the President underscored that Sri Lanka has achieved a significant milestone among middle-income countries by successfully navigating the debt restructuring process, which he described as a notable accomplishment and good news for the nation. President Wickremesinghe made these remarks during a special statement in Parliament aimed at informing about the ongoing debt restructuring efforts.
President
Ranil Wickremesinghe said that not only that debt restructuring is also a challenging endeavour. The President said that the international economic experts agree that it is a difficult and painful process for creditors, debtors, citizens of debtor country and mediators alike. He said that official bilateral creditors never reduce the principal amount of a loan. He said that what we can obtain are concessions such as extended loan repayment periods, grace periods and reduced interest rates. He added that, however, not understanding this reality, some blame the Sri Lankan government for not requesting a basic debt write-off. Others claim that if they come to power, they will negotiate with creditors to cut 50% of the initial loan amount. The President said that we must recognize that such actions require mutual agreement. He further said that creditors will not simply comply with our demands. The President added that these statements reveal a lack of understanding of international economic systems. He said that, in example, Sri Lanka, being a middle-income country, was among the first to implement debt restructuring using a new debt sustainability analysis framework tailor-made for middle-income countries. The President said that he would like to update the House on the agreements reached with the Official Creditor Committee co-chaired by India, Japan and France, as well as the Exim Bank of China regarding debt restructuring. The President said that the government has secured a grace period until 2028 for repaying the principal loan. He said that significant reductions have been made to the interest rates, with the new interest rate set at 2.1% or lower. He added that the repayment period for clearing the entire loan has been extended by 8 years, meaning our debt should now be fully settled by 2043. The President said that there is flexibility to gradually increase principal loan repayments, allowing us to defer loan service costs. This has resulted in Sri Lanka retaining a debt service of $5 billion. President Wickremesinghe said through economic restructuring, rebuilding its reserves, creating fiscal buffers and enhancing debt repayment capacity, the government aims to position the economy strongly for future debt repayments. He further said that this approach creating considerable financial flexibility. He said that next we are in the process of finalizing a restructuring plan for commercial debts totaling $14.7 billion. Discussions on this matter are currently progressing successfully. The President said that the government anticipates completing all these tasks task within a short time frame. He said that following this, he will submit all agreements and documents related to the debt restructuring to the Committee on Public Finance of Parliament. The President urged the Public Finance Committee to give careful and thorough consideration to these matters. He added that certain political groups have been spreading misinformation about our foreign debt on social media. A post shared by a supporter of our parliamentarian, Anura Kumara Disanayaka, claimed that when he took the country, the total foreign debt was $71 billion. Now it is $100 billion. He said that the total foreign debt of our country is $37 billion, not $71 billion as claimed by this individual, which is a false statement. He said that moreover, they suggest that we have borrowed up to $100 billion in the last 2 years, but it is widely known that no country has provided us with loans since we declared default. He added that legally no country has the authority to lend us under these circumstances. The President said that what is the purpose of spreading such misinformation? Are these actions intended to bolster support for your party in the future? It's worth reflecting on these questions. He said that reflecting on the situation 2 years ago, can we afford to forget its impact, not only economically, but also socially and politically? The President said that some responded unfavorably to the positive news of debt restructuring, exhibiting unwarranted hostility akin to a serpent doused with kerosene. In the context of social media, it resembled porcupines bristling with defensive reactions. Why is this so? Is the success of the IMF program seen as good or bad news? Is it good or bad news that queues of fuel, gas and kerosene have vanished? Is it the reduction of bank interest rates from over 30% to 9% considered a good news or bad news? Is the significant drop in inflation from 70% to 1.7% by last month seen as good news or bad news? The President questioned. Is the reversal from 6 consecutive quarters of economic contraction to growth considered good news or bad news? The President questioned. Is the increase of foreign reserves from a low point in May 2022 to 5,410 million good news or bad news? The President questioned. Is the strengthening of the rupee seen as a good news or bad news? Is the shift from a primary account deficit to a surplus considered a good news or bad news? Covering the budget deficit without resorting to printing money, is it a good news or is it bad news? Is a current account surplus or balance of payments considered a good news or bad news? The party leaders who previously faced a risk of violence just for visiting golfers can now travel safely from the southern to the northern tip of the country. Is it good news or bad news? Has the transformation of a country once plagued by terror, where parliamentarians feared attending parliament or staying in their homes, into a place where fear is significantly diminished, good news or bad news? Beneficial for a nation, is it good news or bad news? The path is our only viable option. It is the only route to ensure that this good news resonates into the future. In the Caucasian shock circle, Grusha faces a critical decision: to carry the child and journey over the Vine Bridge. Her only viable option at the time, despite nearby skepticism and fearful inquiries about her fate. Are you going to die? Do you see the precipice, like the underworld? However, Grusha makes a daring decision. She bravely chooses to undertake this risky path. Many anticipate her failure as she crosses the precarious Vine Bridge. However, against all odds, Grusha successfully reaches safety with the child. An onlooker, reflecting on her initial doubt, exclaims in frustration. He said that he thought she was going to fall. Damn it. Even today, with such pessimism persists in our society. He urged those with such despairing thoughts to change their mindset for the betterment and future of our nation. Instead of waiting for failure to happen, let us focus on proactive efforts to build and uplift our country. Let us dedicate our lives to this endeavor with diligence and determination. The President urged all esteemed members of this assembly, whether they support, oppose, respect or admire me, to prioritize the welfare of our nation. Let us all remember one thing: my decisions are not driven by political power or popularity. They are made solely for the country's benefit. Over the past 2 years, my actions have been devoured of political maneuvering. Every decision has been aimed at national progress, not personal gain. Addressing Parliament today, the President responded to the opposition leader's question by emphasizing that malnutrition, poverty and unemployment are detrimental. He questioned, is it right to flee in fear instead of assuming the premiership when the economy is collapsing and people are in trouble? The President said this in response to a question raised by the opposition leader who asked whether it is good or bad for children to suffer from malnutrition. The President responded, it is bad. This is why we implemented the Aswasuma program, providing 10 kilos of rice to low-income families for 2 months. This is why the school feeding program was started. They ask whether poverty is good or bad. Poverty is bad. That is why 2 million people are being granted free land rights under the National Urumia program. That's why 250,000 people living in flats are being given ownership of their homes. What more should be done? The President said that he has another question. When the country's economy was in ruins and the people were suffering, was it right to run away in fear instead of taking on the premiership? Are you okay with that? The government has already paid 200 billion rupees to construction contractors. Is that something to regret? Once the aid is obtained, the government can complete the construction of the Kandy Expressway. Is that something to regret? The President questioned. The government now has a chance to negotiate, particularly with private bondholders. Clifford Chance Company has advised us not to disclose this information at this moment due to the conditions set by other parties, which is a standard practice. He said that they have requested that the government submit all 3 agreements simultaneously. Another country that has signed similar IMF agreements is Ghana. But Ghana has not yet disclosed even that condition. All these matters are specifically assigned to Parliamentarian Harsha De Silva's Committee on Public Finance. The committee will discuss and prepare a report on these issues. Are you envious of Dr. Harsha De Silva? Does he not want to handle this? Why are you discussing it like this? Both our sides agree with MP Harsha De Silva's committee. We don't know what kind of report the committee will produce, whether it will be in our favor or against us, the President says. Let's wait for the report and act accordingly without arguing. If there's a question about MP Dr. Harsha De Silva, do we really need to debate that as well? Also, we should consider whether MP Nalaka Godaheva, who has already faced failure once, will fail again after being appointed as the opposition advisor.
Ruling and opposition party representatives expressed numerous views regarding the special statement made by the President in the House today. Parliamentarian C.V. Vigneshwaran said that it was the reason why he proposed to extend the presidential election in another year. The reason for that idea is that the current program can be continued. He said he thinks what the President is carrying out at present is beneficial. State Minister Sisira Jayakodi said that there are many positive matters in it. Whatever political differences and views we have, management of this financial condition is satisfactory. Parliamentarian S.M. Marikard said that they carried out the idea since President Gotabe's period that Sri Lanka should consult the IMF. However, we criticized this matter since it has been carried out in another way so as to get more benefits to the people. The government has done this as a deal. State Minister P.R. Nishanta said that the President accepted a difficult task and showed his economic management skills. He accepted the challenge and faced it properly. Therefore, we all should help him in his move to save the people from the crisis. Parliamentarian Rohana Bandara said that we all should become happy if we are able to go forward as a country with a sound economy. People hope to save the country from this economic trap through the debt restructuring process. Parliamentarian Nalaka Godaheva said that the President continues the same story of Via Bridge. There is nothing new in his story. He only spoke of debt restructuring but forgot the important matter of sovereign bonds.
In more local news, Cabinet spokesman Dr. Bandrugunwardhan says that it is regrettable that the opposition demeans the debt restructuring process. He made these remarks at the Cabinet press briefing held in the Department of Government Information today. Replying to a question regarding the opposition claim that debt restructuring is not a matter to be reckoned, Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Bandulu Kanwardena said that it is regrettable for the opposition to spread such ideas. When Sri Lanka failed to pay back loans, the creditors attempted to take legal action against the Sri Lankan government. Therefore, the government had to conduct talks, seminars, workshops and many other attempts to convince the creditors to get a considerable time period to pay back the loans. It is pathetic that the opposition could not realize the true situation in the country. Since the government has been able to compromise with the creditors, the government has been able to import fuel, fertilizer, gas and food items. If we failed in this matter, there would be no country or no government. The IMF has agreed to provide comprehensive loan facility of $700 million and the World Bank $400 million. In the meantime, the Asian Development Bank is to provide $3,600 million to continue with this relief program. Sri Lanka has to fulfill the IMF conditions. If we come out of this program, the country can only be run for 2 weeks. Not a single country in the world will accept our letters of credit.
State Minister Shehan Semasinghe announced that all uncertainties surrounding Sri Lanka's debt sustainability have been resolved. He noted that while the international community has shown optimism about Sri Lanka's debt restructuring, some local parties remain skeptical for political reasons. He made these remarks during the press briefing titled "Collective Paths to a Stable Country" held at the Presidential Media Centre today. State Minister Shehan Semasinghe said that the international community has expressed optimism about Sri Lanka's debt restructuring. He said that, however, some parties refuse to view this process positively for political reasons. He added that it is very unfortunate for the country. He said that initially the government believed that the criticism from some parties stemmed from lack of understanding of our efforts. He further said that it is now evident that those statements are made due to political hypocrisy. The State Minister said that this was clearly demonstrated by the opposition when President Ranil Wickremesinghe addressed Parliament today. He said that therefore the public should recognise the extent to which political manoeuvring is interfering with the country's economic progress.
The Cabinet has granted approval to a special loan scheme to economically empower micro, small and medium-scale women entrepreneurs. A sum of 2 billion rupees will be allocated for this purpose. This amount has been allocated from the 20 billion rupees fund set aside to start a credit scheme to revitalize the micro, small and medium-scale entrepreneurs. This was a proposal presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. A National Quality Council will be set up. The Cabinet approves a proposal presented by the Minister of Trade, Commerce and Food Security in this connection. Under the National Quality Infrastructure Strategies, it has been stressed the need to establish a National Quality Council. A proposal presented by the Minister of Labour, Foreign Employment to implement a program titled Vigamanika Harasara has also been approved by the Cabinet. The migrant workers who contributed to increase the foreign reserves by remitting foreign exchange through legal systems during this period of economic crisis will be felicitated under this program.
Litro Gas Company has again reduced the prices of LP gas. The reduced prices will be effective from midnight tonight. A 12.5 kilogram domestic gas cylinder has been reduced by 100 rupees to the new price of 3,690 rupees. A 5 kilogram domestic gas cylinder will be reduced by 40 rupees up to the new price of 1,480 rupees. 2.3 kilogram domestic gas cylinder is now at 694 rupees with a reduction of 18 rupees. Chairman of the Litro Gas Company, Mudita Piri, said that global gas price trends have not been reduced and it has a slight increment. He said that it is his duty to offer gas at a convenient price for the public since the price formula is in effect. He further said that this is not an election campaign. This is the 4th time since last April Litro Gas Company reduced gas prices. He added that the company expects to offer the benefit of Litro gas to consumers in the future too. Meanwhile, the Love's Gas Company says that their prices will not be revised at this moment.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized that the late leader of the Tamil National Alliance, Parliamentarian R. Sampanthan, consistently advocated for Sri Lanka's territorial integrity and held his distinction perspective on power sharing. The President made these remarks in his special condolence message in Parliament today on Sampanthan's passing. His remains are now lying at a private funeral parlour in Borella for public respect. He passed away early morning yesterday while undergoing treatment at a private hospital for a brief illness. Political party representatives, including former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and some distinguished guests, have paid respects to the late politician. His remains will be placed at the Parliamentary complex from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. for the parliamentarians and staff to pay their last respects. Funeral of late R. Sampanthan is scheduled to be held in Trincomalee on Sunday. TNA parliamentarian M.A. Sumandiran said that the body will be taken to Trincomalee on Thursday and will be placed at his residence from 9 a.m. on Friday to the 6th Saturday for the last respect of general public. Final rites will be held in Trincomalee on Sunday, the 7th of this month. President Ranil Wickremesinghe also expressed his views in Parliament today regarding the sudden demise of the late politician.
Honourable Speaker, I am sorry that when I am making this speech, one of my colleagues, the only colleague who came to Parliament with me, Mr. Sampanthan, is no longer here with us. He passed away on Sunday. He and I have worked together through difficult times, and I know the contribution he has made. One thing, though he was in the TULF and the TNA, he steadfastly stood for the territorial integrity of Sri Lanka. He told me, do you think, Ranil, I'll divide the country? As a small boy, I went to see independence in 1948. None of us has seen that. We were not even born, most of us. But he had his own views of how power should be shared. That there is no reason to fight on it, but I think he's done a sufficient amount of work that we have only a little more to finish, and the best contribution to him is to let us finish that work on devolution and decentralization. Thank you.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena has issued a condolence message expressing his deepest sympathies for the demise of veteran politician and parliamentarian late R. Sampanthan. The minister states that he is a matured and pragmatic public representative and a former opposition leader. He represented the Tamil United Liberation Front and represented the parliament for a long period. He was a decisive and centered character in Tamil national politics. He always appeared for the Tamil people's opinions and views as a common leader for Tamil people and the Tamil National Alliance. He has a wider understanding regarding the parliamentary process. President Ranil Wickremesinghe today paid last respects to the remains of late R. Sampanthan, which was placed in private funeral parlour in Colombo. Former Election Commissioner Mahinda Deshapriya has said that the 20th Amendment of the Constitution, which was brought to introduce mixed proportional representation system in 2015, was not passed in the Parliament. When this matter was clarified, the word constituency was used instead of preferential vote. At that time, R. Sampanthan said that, Commissioner, this is the best way to explain it to the people. You use the word constituency in lieu of ward or constituency.
Chairman of the Lanka Private Bus Owners Association, Gamanu Vijayaratne, says that although the bus fares were reduced, both parties will undergo benefits and losses due to shortage of coins. He points out that introducing a paying card system with new technology would be a solution for this problem. Chairman of the Lanka Private Bus Owners Association, Gamanu Vijayaratne, said that the National Transport Commission and the relevant provincial transport authorities have not yet issued the revised bus fare list to some bus owners. The minimum fare was at 31 rupees earlier. However, bus owners charged only 30 rupees. The amount has now become 28 rupees. The second stage is 38 rupees has gone down to 36 rupees. However, due to the shortage of coins, some bus conductors charge 40 rupees. However, they may charge 35 rupees instead of 36 rupees. They face serious difficulty in giving the balance of 2 rupees. Anyway, there are profits and losses for both bus owners and the commuters due to the shortage of coins. Meanwhile, National Transport Commission informs the public to complain any matter regarding the bus fares to the hotline 1955. The chairman of the National Transport Commission, Shashi Velgama, said that if the people provide information regarding the overcharging of bus fares, the Commission will be able to take strong legal actions against the culprits.
In more local news, appointment letters were given to 198 UNP zonal organisers today under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The ceremony was held at the Sirakota UNP headquarters. General Secretary of the UNP Palitharange Bandara said that Ranil Wickremesinghe as the UNP leader will definitely win the presidential election as the leader who saved the country from the economic crisis. Therefore, the people should have a responsibility to support him. Presidential Advisor on National Defence and Chief of Presidential Staff Sagala Ratnayaka said that they had to work with a number of political parties. Now that the UNP has to work collectively with a major opposite party, the President worked for about 2 years with them to develop the country. We must have the ability to work with unity for the well-being of the country.
තව අවුරුදු 5ක් අපේ ජනාධිපති හැටියට තියාගෙන මේ රට බබලවන්න ඔබට හොඳ ආර්ථිකයක් ගෙනල්ලා දෙන්න තරුණ පරම්පරාවට හොඳ අනාගතයක් ගෙනල්ලා දෙන්න තමයි මේ වැඩ කටයුතු කරන්නේ.
Former parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayaka said that they are ready to have an alliance with other friendly political parties to ensure President Ranil Wickremesinghe's victory. By the end of this October, the President will be elected as the Executive President again. Therefore, let us start this victory program from the Colombo district.
අග වෙනකොට මේ රටේ නැවතත් ජනාධිපති වශයෙන් පත් කළා ඔබ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයෙන් මේ ජයග්‍රහණය කරන වැඩපිළිවෙල අද ඉඳන්
The 198 UNP zonal organisers has been appointed for the Colombo district. Public representatives of the party and several others were present at this occasion.
The Mirigama electoral constituency meeting of Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna was held yesterday. The meeting has been organised at the Mirigama public market premises under the patronage of Mirigama electoral organiser of SLPP Kokila Gunawardana. National organiser of the Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa said that some parties are attempting to gain political mileage by misleading younger generation. We saw it at the struggle. They set fire to the houses of parliamentarians. They wanted to remove us from politics. However, Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna has been able to come back to politics with a momentum. General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna parliamentarian Sagara Karyawasan said that leaders of our party have not given weapons to the LTTE. They have not set fire to the banks or transformers. They have not killed people. Leaders of our party are the leaders who saved the country or brought the country under one flag.
And now for a few more local news items in brief. The Padayatra campaign of Hindu devotees from Hatton and Thalawakal areas to Katharagama area has commenced. The devotees walk about 200 kilometers for about 6 days to participate in the Katharagama Asala festival. The tradition is to stay in Katharagama until the end of the Asala festival. Internationally reputed office manager Dr. Sunetra Jayaratna Nugevela was honoured with the International Office Manager 2024 award. The awarding ceremony was held at the Grand Connaught Hotel in London recently. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, who participated in the 70th Peace and Reconciliation Commemoration Ceremony in Beijing, has arrived in the island. The ceremony was held recently at the People's Hall in Beijing, China. The Nicovarity Police Anti-Corruption Unit has seized 50,000 fags produced in a foreign country, 1,400 kilograms of turmeric powder and 88 kilograms of kendal leaves illegally imported from India. The police say that these items have been concealed in a storehouse in Putlam town and in a car. Police has also taken several suspects into their custody in connection with this incident. The STF officials have seized a smart mobile phone and a haul of phones and phone accessories in an emergency search conducted in the cell of suspect Pradeep Divshan alias Midiga Machuti in the Boothsa High Security Remand Prison. The engine driver of the number 1019 train that ran from Colombo to Kandy has been interdicted due to a misconduct. Deputy General Manager of Sri Lanka Railways N.J. Indipolage says that an investigation at the department level is now underway into the incident. The foreign media, before we get on to that, a quick break and we'll be back with your foreign news. Stay tuned.
அனுபவம், அறிவு மற்றும் தொடர்பாடல் திறன்களோடு நாளைய தினத்திற்கு ஏற்ற டிஜிட்டல் வங்கிகளின் நவீன சேவைகளின் எதிர்கால வெற்றிக்கு வழியமைக்கும்